Hi everybody. I am tracking a um, reversal trade here on PLNT. What you see me doing now, hit our scan, and what I'm doing now is I am marking my daily levels, and of course I only use pivot points. That's the only thing I'm looking at when I'm marking my daily levels are the pivot points. Now, what you're seeing is an actual recording of the video I did, the recording that I made earlier, because I forgot to cut the mic on. So the mic is muted. I'm talking here, but the mic is muted. So I'm having to go back over this. And you can see I've gone back and you can see how well these pivot points line up because they almost tap to the penny the pivot points from earlier. I drew them here, and as I scroll back, you'll see how prior price price action actually tap the same pivot points. So I added one in there, but for the most part, you're going to see all of them are going to be pretty much the same. I'm looking at 1838 right here. This level is what I'm looking at basing this trade off of. So I want to see this actually tap that level before I go in. The other thing that I'm looking at is how far away from that level the 9 moving average is, because most of these reversal trades will reverse when they come back. They'll come back and tap the 9 moving average and start moving back up. So when you're trading with a small account and you don't really have enough shares to where you can scale in and scale out, you're going to have to take off everything at that first target. And so the first target's going to have to make sense profit wise. So you're going to have the correct risk reward, and you're going to have to use, have to make sure that that profit target makes sense. Now, not only do I use 2 to 1 as a minimum, but as a small account, you're going to have to go one step further. You're going to have to look at how much your commissions are going to be per trade, which if you're with SureTrader on this trade, probably about 13 bucks. And you want to make at least 6-7 times your commissions, at least that. Because if you just make enough to cover your commissions and then $5 or $10, you're putting yourself at risk too much, and you'll probably never get out of the hole. And you'll see in some cases you take a trade or you start to go into a trade and it takes long to develop and it eats up some of your profit margin, and you just have to get out to protect whatever you have. Sometimes that's the case, and that's what you have to do. You're not exiting a trade too early. You're just looking at the price action and you're making a decision based on what you see. And hopefully, this trade is going to let you see just how we have to do that. Now, this is a very difficult time to be trading a small account. Number one is summertime, which makes it difficult. Number two, we're waiting for a a potentially big event in the market. So with Bredix, so that's why I said on that last video last night that maybe it would be smart to wait and do this next week. But if I caught something, it's fine for me to go ahead and show it. If we can make a little bit of profit here and there, and then kind of give it some, um, give it go through a learning experience is what it is. and that's all this is. And it's kind of a relearning experience for me because I'm experiencing things that I haven't done in the past. So, okay, like I said, 1838 was the level. Now, it's not marked on this chart yet. Eventually, I will mark it on the DOS chart. I don't like DOS charts because it's not as easy to draw levels and all of that stuff. I just have it down to a science on Thinkorswim, and that's why I do it on it, and then I switch back. Will I miss a move here or there? Yeah. I mean, that's always a possibility, but that's just the name of the game. I'd rather be safe than sorry. All right, so in this case, I'm waiting, and what we're gonna look for it to do is to test this level and fail. Now, yeah, I can anticipate the failure of this level, but if you go back and look at the red candle at just before 10 o'clock when it made that run up, and then you have that red candle, it didn't make it made a new high, but it didn't make a new low. And, only by a couple of cents it made a new high, but it was pretty much within that candle, the previous candle. So that wasn't a real deal breaker for me. Plus, it turned around and it started to move up. And it's actually setting up again for a top reversal off that 1838 level. So right now, I want to see it test it and fail it. So you may hear you may have some downtime here, and you may see some freezes in the trade in this recording because I was actually in another trade, and sometimes I had to stop and go back, and I think I actually covered some in one trade. So trying to trade out of two accounts can be a little bit taxing. Here we got up to like 1847, almost 10 cents above that level. But what I've seen over the last couple days is that we get a breach of this level, we get a candle close above it, and then the next candle that opens actually is a weak candle. It won't make a new high. It'll actually, fall back and open kind of weak. And that's what's happening with this candle. And so once you see me draw the level on here, then it'll probably make a little bit more sense. But you also see me flipping back and forth between my Thinkorswim and this DOS chart. Now you see, the small account trade at the top, all of this annotation, that's kind of to disguise my Thinkorswim account. So that's why I'm leaving it up there for right now. I didn't go in and hide the account number, so I need to do that for the next one. I don't really care about the SureTrader account number because it won't be much there to start with. So, and I won't keep anything there. And if you're good enough to hack it and get my money from SureTrader, then you can teach me how to do it because you know a trick or two. But so right now I'm just watching and waiting to see what happens. If it's gonna confirm this break of the 1838 level, and if that level is gonna confirm as support, or is it gonna fail? All right, and this is the tough time, in being a trader. You have to be patient and you have to wait for the setup. And at this point, you can't be looking around um, at what other people are doing, because what will happen is you'll miss the move on the trade that you're watching. So right now I am focusing on, here we go. I'm getting ready to draw the trend line now. And this is going to let you know where the level is that I'm really looking at to take this trade off of. At this point, it's not looking very favorable. We're right at the cut line for taking this trade, because you can see the 9 is a red line, and you can see how it has made a substantial move up. And it's the more it moves up, the more trading range this thing is taking away from me. And that trading range is potential profit. And like I said, it needs to be, it needs to make sense. And what I'm showing you here, there's a big window up to 1895 from 1838 to the upside. So if it reclaims that level, there's a big move up. Now, the only way I would take that trade long is for it to make a little move up, probably halfway between 1838 and 1895, and pull back and test 1838. And I would take it on the pullback up to the next level. But just jumping in right now because it claimed this and thinking that it's going to move up to 1895, that's not a good risk reward trade. Because even though you could base it off of 1838, it really hasn't confirmed that it's going to hold this level and move up. Yeah, we did get a close above it, but this candle that's printing now is relatively weak. And that's what I'm concerned about right now, that this candle is pretty weak. And I don't think that this is going to hold. So now I'm going to flip back to, in a minute, I'm going to flip back to my SureTrader account, because I'm going to start looking to enter this trade. See, right now, the 9 is at 1818 and we're at 1842. If I take it at 1838, we're going to have right at 20 cents. And at 450 shares, 500 shares at 20 cents, that's what, 90 to 100 bucks. So that's really what I'm looking for. So hopefully we can get in, get a nice entry. 1835 would probably be where I would look to get in, because I have a 3 cent, practically a 3 cent stop. Even though I'm not going to stop if it trades over it, it's going to have to close over it. But you got a 3 cent stop at the level that I'm basing the trade off of, versus a 20 to 25 cent move down. So that's what within our risk reward parameters. And remember, we're not trying to hit home runs. What we're trying to do is get small wins, $75 to $100 on these trades, so that we can continue to build our account. Now, yeah, we get in the trade. Some of these trades are going to have big windows, and some of them we're going to be able to make, some pretty good money on, without, having to risk a whole lot or to really stress out. So the main thing is just, focusing on, hitting our marks and booking our profit when we can. So right now I'm looking to get in. I'm liking what I'm seeing right here with this candle. This is exactly what I saw over the last couple days. So I'm going to put in an order here to get short at like 1835. That's where I want to get filled. So you're going to see my order go up here in a minute. And really, one of the big reasons I'm taking this trade is because I want to demonstrate some of the emotions that you're going to run into. Even though this really isn't ideal and it's really starting to, I'm right at the max, the minimum really, of being able to make a decent profit. So this is a iffy trade. Sometimes I wouldn't even take this trade because, my profit has just been eaten up. But this is a good learning experience. It's and not just for you guys, but for me too, because trading with a smaller account and making these type trades it's a lot different than me trading out my big account. And see, I just got filled at 35. So I'm in the trade. Now, one mistake I made was I did not go in. Once you get in the trade and you see it starting to work, and what I mean by starting to work, when this next candle prints and it's weak and it's showing signs of continuation of the down move, I automatically should have gone in and put my order in wherever the 9 was. At this time, it was at 1820. It had moved up from 1818 to 1820. And put my order in, and it, no matter what, so if I only had 15 cents, if that was all I could get was 15 cents, that's where the trade the 9 had come up, had killed my potential profit. But if you're in the trade and then you realize that your profit potential has been narrowed, then you're going to have to switch into another mode and try to maximize that profit. Your trade plan still should be the same, using the 9 moving average as your target, but you're not going to make as much money. And you're not going to get what you wanted out of it. So at this point, I'm in it, but the 9 has come up so close that it's really taken the profit potential out that I wanted to have. So right now, the minimum I can get is probably 5 or 6 times my commission cost, which is the minimum that we should take on these trades. So we're going to be waiting for this to materialize here. And all this is a waiting game. And you'll see why I made my mistake. You see how late I am putting this in? It's washing down and it's at 20. My order's not in yet. Okay? I'm talking. I'm running my mouth and I didn't get my order in. And so I could have clicked it and got out with my 5-1 or 7-1 profit margin over my commission costs, but I just flat blew it. So I'm going to leave the order out. It's going to stay out because it can dip back down there. Who's to say it can't? And you're going to see in a minute it gets down to 1821 and then it stops. It never does get to 20 and I never do get filled. But now I'm showing you this because how many of you would have seen that, man, I was up $60, $70 on this trade And now look at this candle. This candle looks like the candle you see at the bottom of a reversal trade. And you're thinking that, man, this thing tapped it. I missed it. It's going to reverse. I just need to go ahead and get out. And you click it. You take it off. You really don't give it a chance to actually work. You know, so you're going through all these emotions. Just think about what the emotions would be if you're watching your P&L. And I've only got it up here because of the recording. I don't watch my P&L. I only concentrate on hitting marks and hitting targets on the chart and reading price action. I could care less what my P&L says. But I will have it up here because it is part of what I want to show and what I want to demonstrate as some of the challenges that we have, trading with a small account. All right, you can see, look at it now. We're red now. We're red $36, $40. And you're going to have some people that's going to say, man, this thing is turning around and I'm clicking it. I'm taking it off. I'm not going to lose any more money. But you have to stick. I don't care what size account you're using. You have to size in the trades to where you can use these technical levels to base your trade off of. As long as this price action is below the 1838 level, my trade plan is in play. Above it, if it closes and starts trading above it, then my trade plan is dead. So I'm going to be sized in to give it enough room to test that area. And I'm not going to get spooked out just because it went above it. So even though this 9, and you can see I'm watching the 9 just creep up and just steal all of the profit potential that I have on this trade. I still have my order at 1820, but as long as it's trading the way it's going to trade, I'm going to leave it that way. Now, as this thing creeps up, you're going to see me make another decision. Because the 9 creeping up and it's going to push up into this 1838 resistance, it's going to make this stock pop it and it's going to run. So I've got that in the back of my mind. So right now, what I'm doing is I'm looking to see if we get a quick wash. If not, I'm going to adjust my order so that I can take it off at the 20. So you're going to see me take it off at the 9. So you see right now it's at 1820, 1821, I'm sorry. And it's going to sit there for a minute and it's never going to hit my 1820 order. And when it doesn't hit it this time, this is when I'm going to change it. And I should be changing my order here in a couple minutes. All right, you see, I took my order off. I'm gonna put another one in here at 1825. The 9 has moved up to I think at 1824 at this point. I'm gonna put 1825 in to cover this and just kind of get out of it, because you can see that it's going to push up. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind at this point that this stock is going to break through that 1838 level and continue to move up, because it just made a higher low in relation to the last little pullback it had. And this is telling me, and the 9 is moving up, and it's got all that pressure pushing up on it. So at this point, I felt 1825 was the best out, for me, so that I can just take whatever it gives me and then move on, and possibly look for another trade or, something else. Because remember, when we're trading with small accounts, we have to be more selective. There's no way around it. We have to be more selective. Here, and I just got 1825, just got hit. I'm out of it. And you can see this stock did eventually hit 1820. It actually dipped down to 1815, took out some of the stop losses from people who were long, and it took off and broke out and ran a point, to the upside. I missed that, and I talked about that setup because it popped it moved up, it came back and tested this 1838 level, it held, and then it ran up and made a good point. So had I been in it to the long side, I could have gotten, 450 shares, $450. Who said you can't make that kind of money off a smaller account? You can do it. You just have to be locked into these trades. And as I get more efficient and more proficient making these recordings as I trade, then I'm going to be able to catch a lot of these, good moves and secondary moves. That was the end of the recording. But if you go back and look at PLNT, you'll be able to see the move that it actually made after that, because it did make a decent move. This isn't my trading platform. I had to save the trade. I had to upload it and then replay it so that I could, do my voice overlay. But, just go to it and see it, PLNT, and I'll probably cover it a little bit tonight when I cover my other trade that I'm doing on CCL. But that's all I've got. Hopefully you got something out of this, and I promise you it will get better as I get more proficient, with actually trading and, commentating on my trades. So everybody have a great rest of the day. And I should be posting another recap video this evening for my other trades.